Are you set up with looking in the mirror and the person looking back at you isn't who you used to remember? Well, fear not, because I'm here to let you know that there is hope on the other side of that mirror. Ditch diet culture. First of all, let's talk for a minute about diets. And if anyone has been through more than their fair share of diets, definitely yours truly. I am now in my 50s, and I am grateful to be in my 50s, if not for the wisdom of what I've learned in my 20s, my 30s, and my 40s of what not to do to my body. Number one, it stop being so cruel to my body and stop being so hard on myself. Those are some really harsh lessons that I had to learn a long time ago. But it wasn't until I got to 50 where it really sank in and finally makes sense. So picture it and let me know if you're following with me, if this is you. I was all about whatever the latest flavor diet of the month. So keto, yes, I'm in. I'm going to put butter in my coffee and I am going to consume this amount of fat and this amount of protein, and I'm going to keep my carb level down to a certain amount, and this, that, and third. And yes, and oh, weight is losing, and oh, I am looking good and svelte, and oh, yes, we found the answers. Keto, this is me, this is it. Until I ate a cookie or a slice of pizza or anything that had a nice flaky, doughy texture to it. And looky there, not only did the weight blam back on, but it brought extra friends. So that wasn't for me. So I said, well, I'll do paleo. I can dabble in grains and lean meats and veggies. And oh, that was fantastic. And oh, of course the weight came off. Oh, but then there goes that pizza or that outing at work. And oh, they catered by my favorite restaurant. And I can't have it. It's pasta. Damn it, man. I can't have pasta anymore. It has to be made a certain way with a certain type of grain and this, that, and the other. And then my weight started doing all kinds of weird things. I got it. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to become a vegan. That's the answer. Vegan, everything vegan. Burgers, vegan tofu, everything. Vegan. I figured it out. I'm going to be a vegan. Oh, that wasn't a rule either because, again, I'm restricting so many food groups for my eating pleasure. I actually gained a vegan diet because I did not do it properly. So I always say this, I will circle the airport. I'll eventually land this plane. And so I'm landing the plane now. And here it is. With all of those examples, great diet in context. They look great on paper, but in execution, the thread amongst all of them is for the majority of us, and I'm not saying all, I'm not putting a blanket on everybody, but for the majority of us, especially those of us, we ladies over 50. Sometimes diets, and those are just examples, there's so many more out there, just pick one. I did the boil and egg diet where you eat eggs all day. Oh, you lose a lot of weight on that. But then again, here's the gotcha with all of them. Name one, I'll tell you the same gotcha. Once you stop, the weight comes back with friends. And the only time that's a great situation where something comes back with interest is if we're talking about investments, money-wise, but not time, and definitely not your peace of mind. When I created the Ageless After 50 or Ageless Eating Rhythm Method, I did it in a way that customized what we identify with intermittent fasting. Now, don't get me wrong, I love intermittent fasting. I love everything about it. Did a deep dive into it years ago, read all of the greats, and really got just internalized in what intermittent fasting is. However, what I didn't realize and what I couldn't take in layman's terms is there is such a thing as doing too much. And I was doing too much when it came to intermittent fasting. So I had to regroup because my weight was just doing all kinds of things. If you've seen my past videos, then you know my backstory. I had gastric bypass back in my 20s. Literally, this year will mark 25 years. So 25 years since I had gastric bypass. Back then, I lost 230 pounds. Life was beautiful in my 20s because in your 20s, guess what? Your body does what you want your body to do. Then my 30s hit. Okay, the weight starts creeping up because what they kind of fudge a bit with the truth about gastric bypass, your stomach can stretch back to the size that it originally was. So you can go back to eating full meals again. That's what happened to me. So I was in a yo-yo pattern in my 30s, mad dieting, trying to get back to that lowest threshold weight that I had been in my 20s. And at that time, it was 162. And for the life of me, I couldn't do it. I was doing all the diets and I was doing so much cardio, it would make your head spin. There was a time I remember I was planning to visit a very dear friend in Nassau for my birthday. And I want to say this was it was before my 40th birthday. So I was still in my 30s. And when I tell you, y'all, I dieted down. Like I was doing 90 minutes of cardio twice a day. I was doing a low carb diet. I mean, basically just everything that I could think of. And did it work? Of course it worked. I looked fantastic. As soon as I got there, I started eating, ate my whole birthday cake. We went to Nobu. It was a wrap. By the time I came back from that trip, I had already put on 10 pounds. And before I knew it, the 20 pounds I had lost for the trip, I had put on 30 plus. And you get tired of seeing the same movie. Like, we've seen this before. We know the ending. We've seen the sequel. We've seen the remix. We don't feel like seeing this again. Spoiler alert. Ageless AF eating rhythm method is going to be the plot twist that you never saw coming. So what is it? What I've done with all of my years in faux pas of dieting, exercise, and basically not being kind to my body is customize a method, a regimen, a strategy for life that you can do for life. Once you reach the age of 50, so many other things start going on where life really starts lifing. In my case, menopause. I have an autoimmune illness, I have Crohn's disease. So you're dealing with flare-ups. And of course, you have your usual call-outs. So that's knee pain, back pain, my neck and my back. That's why I'm hit differently now than it did when we were in the club in the 90s. You know what I mean? But what I'm telling you now is you can ditch diet culture. Just throw it all away. It's a billion-dollar industry for a reason because it capitalizes and weaponizes that look that we see in the mirror and we think something's wrong. No, nothing's wrong. All you have to do is just a slight paradigm shift in the way that you approach your eating lifestyle. No, you don't have to give up your favorite. You don't have to block out a whole category of nutrients. So no, I'm never going to say go low carb or go all protein or go all carb and low. No, I'm going to say the foods that you enjoy. And if you like what you've heard so far, make sure that you hit that like button. If I haven't introduced myself already, I'm Daphne, and I'm the face behind Ageless After 50, where we ditch diet culture, reclaim our rhythm, and we thrive unapologetically. So I'm going to start you off. Even if you've done intermittent fasting before, I'm going to customize it even more so it fits your life, your rules. If you've never done it before and it seems, oh, this is a little bit too much, and I don't know how you go that long without food, I think is the number one push I always get. We're going to start it with baby steps. Smooth. Let's ease into it. I always recommend the 12-12. That 12 hours of fasting and your 12-hour eating window. And mind you, I did not say eat all of those 12 hours. That's your eating window. When your window opens, that's when you eat. Think about it as a restaurant opening and closing. If you go to a restaurant and it has a sign that the restaurant is closed, that's it. You have to wait for it to open again. Think of your window like that. Wait for your window to open. It's not telling you no. It's just delayed gratification. So in the example of 12-12, you would stop eating by 8 p.m. and then you'll resume or open your window at 8 a.m. the following morning. So there is your 12-hour fast. So in that scenario, that prevents you from mindless midnight snacking or doing anything extra after dinner. Now, I didn't say you can't have dessert with dinner, you can't have your favorite meal. Eat whatever you want. Do it within your window. Best way to close your window, I just brush my teeth. Because once it's brushed, it's like it feels weird to put food back in there. It's like the window is closed, moving on. And get into that mind shift of how you're eating, and make sure you subscribe, because in my next video, I'll be talking about what food cues and hunger cues are and how you can differentiate when you're really hungry and when you are probably just in need of some hydration. And it's very intuitive. Once you get that locked in, the world is your oyster, pun intended. So I just want to say that you can do this. The best part is it's free. Like, you can do it anytime you want to start and stop. Do you have to do it every day? No. Start slowly. Tell yourself, I'm going to do this 2 days starting tomorrow. And then just go for 2 days. That's it. And then as you get more adjusted, stretch it out to 3. And then as you flex your fasting muscle, so this is your Ageless AF eating rhythm, and you're finding where your groove is, maybe you want to advance that window to 16, where in that scenario, you would actually skip breakfast. That's where a lot of the magic begins for a lot of people. But again, I want you to take it slow. Hey, we made it to over 50. One thing we have is patience. So take this journey with me, and I promise that you will see a different world the other end of the Ageless AF eating rhythm method. So thanks for joining me today. Make sure you subscribe for the next video, and I'll see you soon. Until then, be kind to yourself.